So I am outside at the moment. It's kind of dark, as one could see. Um, I have. I want to talk about time. Um, everybody. Okay, I send voice messages because I have difficulty. No, I actually can't type with both hands. I can type with one hand, but not both. And I don't know if anybody has ever experienced typing or wanting to type a lot of words. Like I can speak so much faster than I can type. Think about it. One-handedly? What? Um so yeah, I prefer voice messaging, which voice messaging in and of itself is not really the point of this video. Or I guess it's a video. Whatever. Um but you know, everyone is always talking, saying that they don't have time for this, for that. You know, time is always there. Time is never not there. I also need to set up my light. So hold on a minute. I'm talking and also trying to do something. I'm not fantastic with multitasking. Anyway, you know, people always say that the point of me messaging or mentioning, not messaging, mentioning the voice messaging is that people always talk about not having time to listen. Technically, you do have time. Not that you have to stop what you're doing and listen to something when somebody sends a voice message, but it doesn't matter when you send the message, or it doesn't matter when you listen to it. You have the message, so you can listen to it anytime. It doesn't expire usually. I don't think it does. So there's that. But you know, people always say that they don't have time for things. My personal, I don't know if it's a philosophy, but my thoughts on time is that time is always there. Time is never not gonna be there. So the way I live life is that I can only get so much done in a day. And if I don't get something done, if I don't get something done today, actually, there are multiple things that I didn't do today, but I can only get so much done in one day. So the point of me mentioning that is not just to say that. Everyone's always talking about they don't have enough time. They don't have enough time for this, for that, whatever. You have plenty enough time. Time is always there. You can't ever get away from time. It's just priorities. It really just depends on what you choose to do. Like, for instance, a person may choose to not listen to a message or whatever, but you have time. You can't get away from it. You know? You can't get away from time. I know I can't. Now, I think I said this before, but I I do think about time in the sense that there's only so many hours in a day. But I'm doing some work in a toolbox, so there might be a little bit of background noise. But it's not that you can't find time, but basically you pick and choose what you want to do. Like, for instance, actually I can't find an instance. Nice. there's value for you. I don't know. I mean, people always say that, like, they don't have time. You do have time. Like, that you... I don't get it. I mean, I get what they're saying. They don't have enough time. But I don't think about whether I have enough or not. I have exactly enough time. I have perfect enough time. I can only get so much done in a day, and beyond that is beyond my control. I can only control I can only control what I can do every day. But beyond that is beyond me. So it's not that I don't care about what I don't get done in a day, but it's that if I don't get a certain thing done in a day, that's kind of like, okay, well, clearly we didn't have time for that. So we'll get it done tomorrow or the next day or etc. People have time. I mean, if you're working on like deadlines and like schedules, like for people or for things that you want things to get done by a certain date, that's different. But time alone by itself, people have time. Not to say that it's just, to me personally, to Bobby, it's a mindset. If you have a mindset of, oh, I don't have enough time, oh, I don't have enough of this, you're never going to have enough time because you're always panicking about not having enough time. But like, people do have time. I have plenty of time. I mean, until I die, I have time. So, oh man, there's some 12. Cool. I just found something that I didn't know was in this box. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't mind that people that supposedly never have enough time. Okay, fine. You don't want to have enough time? That's not my problem. I have time. I got plenty of time. I have the whole rest of my life. I do. I mean, I'm not dead yet, right? I'm still alive. So, I have time. I've got plenty of time. I mean, I have, like, what? 70, 80. Oh man, there's a sea clam. I wasn't really looking for this, but it's good that I found it. But people have, like, say, anywhere between, like, 80 and 90 years worth of time. That's a long time. That is many hours. Many hours. And I have that much. Yes, I just found something I was not really looking for, but it's good that I found it. Why did these end up in here? I don't know. Dang. You know when you, like, misplace things and then you find it later and you're like, wow, why are these in here? Honestly. Confusion. But yeah. I don't ever not have time for things. Like for instance, I will just say that I have kind of been on the receiving end of people who are always like rushing and oh, that's the other thing. People say that it's not that people never have time. I feel like people, like humanity, they're always trying to do it's like I was saying before. It's like you can only do so much in a day, but I feel like humanity, they're always like, "No, I don't have enough time for this." Well, what are you talking about? You have time? I mean, you can only do so much in a day. And like what? You're trying to do more? I mean, on the one hand, I get it. I'm not trying to disagree with anybody. Also because a person is allowed to have different opinions. But in my that was really loud. In my opinion, in Bobby's personal opinion, there's always time. Until a person dies, there is time. You just have to, I guess, prioritize what is important. And if say like a message from somebody or whatever, it doesn't have to be a message, but if something is not as important to you, that's a you problem. It's not necessarily a like actual problem, but it kind of does have to do with like me or whoever sent the message. But like they can't control whether you listen to it or not. You can. So like whatever, you know? Like personally, everyone's all like, "Oh, I don't have time for this or that." I'm like, okay. Well, guess what? I'm not saying that I have time for everything. I don't have time for everything. But I understand. I understand what it's kind of like. I guess being told that you don't have time. Like all the time. And for people always being in a rush, or I'm not entirely sure what I'm trying to say. Feeling as though other people never have time for me. So, no offense to anybody, but yes, you do have time. I mean, I'm not trying to be a jerk by saying that, but people do have time. But you prioritize what you prioritize. And beyond that is beyond me. So, I mean, not that I like don't care, because I don't know, maybe I do, but at the same time, I also kind of don't really, in the sense that I can't control other people's like reactions or responses. I don't really know where that word was going, other than the fact that I just said a actual English word. To like people's responses to whether or not they have time. Everyone has time. They just always think that they don't have enough. You have exactly enough. And I mean, not even that it's like any big deal, because it's not really. But, ah, man, I just found something that I wasn't really looking for, but it's good that I found it. Nice. Or rather, I put some sanding discs in this box that I'm kind of reorganizing, and I didn't know that I had put them there. So I'm really happy I found them. It's no big deal. I'm happy I found them. But yeah, I mean, honestly, like, fine. Like, honestly, to me, I've been told multiple times recently that people, like, don't, quote unquote, don't have time for something. And it's like, okay, fine. Then should I / do I have time for you? You know? Now, of course, I do. Because I understand being... And I'm not saying that other people don't, but I understand being told, like, kind of all the time-ish. I don't have enough time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, whatever. That's on you. It's not me. So, like, okay, fine. Honestly, I'm not even offended by that. I'm not offended by a person saying that they don't have time for a certain thing. I just don't care anymore. Something that's beyond my control, I don't care. There are a lot of things in this world that I really do care. But anyway, basically, what I'm saying in all this is that people do have time. You have however many years you are alive worth of time. It's just picking and choosing what is important. It's not that you don't have time. Like, I don't want to say don't tell me that, but kind of. But yeah, you do. Like, I'm not saying that people are wrong. There are plenty of times that I'm wrong too. But I can only get so much done in one day. And beyond that is beyond my control. I'm not here to get stressed out over something that I didn't get done one day because I didn't have enough time. I had plenty of time. I just didn't get a certain thing done. Now, like I said before, when you're working on a schedule with a lot of other people, then yeah, maybe time is a little different. But people have time. People do have time. It's just choosing what is and isn't important. It's not that you don't have time. You have time. As long as you're alive, you have time. You don't have time when you die. So, I don't know. I don't understand people saying... I mean, I do. I understand it from their perspective in the sense that they don't have enough time for blah, blah, blah. But I also don't understand it in the sense that, yes, they do. They do. You do have time. You just pick and choose, you know?